Hey there and welcome back to the second video. Today I'm diving into painting my custom Greek Tom Kings, but before we get started, I've tried to clean up the audio a little bit compared to the last video. Hopefully it's a little bit better this time around since the recording conditions before were not the best.
There's an eye-opener and no mistake.
Hey there and welcome to the very first video showcasing the build-up of my Tom Kings army for Warhammer the Old World. I also somehow got way too self-conscious about my accent and made it sound quite bad. The horns. But about that, I can't promise anything, so please just bear with me. Now on to the painting. I've been experimenting with a new color scheme aimed at efficiency without sacrificing quality. The basing is really simple, just using some basing bark chips, aka little wooden pieces, and ground texture from green stuff wool. I started with a base of black primer and a zenithal priming of white, which is quite unusual for me since usually I like to use only black priming and build up from there, even the really bright colors, which has a really nice result but takes way too long for these guys, so not this time. I began by generously applying Agaros Dune contrast all over the model. Skeletons work wonders with contrast paints. I added a bit of Leviathan purple for some color variation. I kept it subtle yet interesting. Might not be really clear on the camera, but it's really gonna add something. Now it's time to base all of our bronze, but before you ask, yes, my color palette is a polyfoam meat tray with cooking paper. I've used it for a while now, it serves me well, and cooking paper just makes the paint taste so much better.
God damn, Jimmy, this some serious gourmet shit.
Anyway, I darkened the Balthazar gold with some black, then applied it on every bronze piece. I also based the metallic blade of the spear in lead belcher. I went for a normal metal for the weapon to make it stand out a little bit from the shield and armor. The red fabric now. It can sound weird, but I really love to start with blue. Having a different hue as a base is a technique I love, and as you can see with this green jacket here, the blue still pops from the shadow part and makes that green way more vibrant and colorful. I will do the same, but with red in this case. While the blue dries up, I will do a first quick shade on the bronze, just to have volumes a bit more clear, and apply it to the spear as well. I make sure to apply more contrast on the lower part of the blade to simulate the upper light source, like the sun or anything. Now that the blue is dried, I'll mix up some Mephiston red to it and have my first highlight, paying attention to keep some blue in the recess. It will need a couple more layers before really popping, but it's getting there. I keep adding up some more shading to the bronze with the good old Nuln oil, focusing on the lower part of the shield and the biggest recess on the helmet. Probably my favorite part now, highlighting the bones with red bone white. These skeleton sculpts are perfect to highlight. Sometimes running the brush on these rips just feels like playing xylophone. I love it. This step is also really important to clean up some parts that might look a little bit messy after a generous contrast paint layer. Moving on the red fabric again, this time with pure Mephiston red, and trying to focus more and more on the edges. The reds start to build up pretty nicely. With the last layer of Wild Red Rider, which is more orange, I'll give it some more vibrance, focusing on the edges again. Time to work the bronze. The oxidation effect is made by piling up quite a lot of desaturated green and blue. It will take a lot of layers to show. I also applied some rust on the blade. I'm using weathering gouache, but normal acrylic orange would totally do the trick. This one just takes a little bit longer to dry. In between the green transparent layers, I come back with contrast paint to keep the shadows dark on the shield and around the recess. I finally decided the color for the spear handle, my favorite color, Macrage Blue. A final highlight of pure white on the skeleton makes it extra crispy, and from there I will call the bones finished. After all these layers of green, I bring back a little bit of metalness by dry brushing some gold on the top exposed part of the shield and helmet. The rust finally dried, so I added a last layer of contrast to make the shadow darker. I also quickly finished the handle with highlights and while blending some dark in the bristles. Highlighting the steel, a thin highlight on the edge of the blade and the central line of the spear. This step could be skipped, but I really think it's adding quite a lot. At this point, I realized the bronze was getting a little bit too bright for me, so I glazed some darker green. These layers are really diluted and take a long time to dry, so in between each layer on the bronze, I added one layer on the base, gradually brushing it up to a more yellowish brown to have a dried up soil. I keep piling up the green layers on the bronze, and while waiting to dry, I indulge myself with the best part of painting a miniature, painting the base edge black. There is something really satisfying in covering these edges in a thick, clean layer of black paint. As a last touch, I decided to give the eyes of my skeleton a slightly ghosty green bright color to make the face a little bit easier to read. And here it is, my first fully painted skeleton spearman. I'm really happy with the overall result. I think I will streamline a little bit more the bronze painting for the next one. But I think the rendering is great. I really like the little touch of the green eyes. So thank you so much for watching and making it so far. Please consider subscribing if you didn't yet. And I'll see you in the next video where it's probably gonna be a character this time and also an overall update on the project. Thank you so much guys. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.